This video is taken part of IEP project for the academic year 2018. For the next few minutes, I'll be talking about how NITI Aayog plans to transform India's economy and quality of life by 2020. As the world's fastest growing economy, it is poised to displace Germany as the world's fourth largest economy by 2022. According to IMF, by 2032, its economy is expected to grow to 10 trillion from the present 2.3 trillion. In this backdrop, NITI Aayog, a policy think tank that advises the Indian government, came out with draft recommendations last week to help stay on this trajectory and radically transform the quality of life of its billion and more citizens. The report titled 3 Years Action Agenda envisages a fully literate India that also has universal access to healthcare. India's 125 crore citizens, the majority of which consist of the youth, increasingly aspire for greater employment and a better quality of life. The think tank said it in its report. In this backdrop, the present document charts an ambitious, transformational yet achievable action agenda for the government during 2018 to 2020. Here we look at the top recommendation from the action plan. Double farmer income, farmers make up nearly half of the country's workforce. The NITI Aayog estimates, however, over the last few decades, their plight has been a cause of concern. Failed crops and high debt pushed 12,000 agricultural laborers to commit suicide in 2015 alone. Many even quit farming completely. The think tank that proposes enhancing agricultural productivity by introducing new technologies and shifting from low to high value activities such as horticulture, dairying, poultry, piggery, fisheries, and forestry. We need to expand the scope of irrigation to increase crop intensity, improve access to irrigation, enhance the seed replacement rate, and encourage the balanced use of fertilizer. The report said, jobs, jobs, jobs. The NITI Aayog pegs India's unemployment rate between 5% and 8% currently, but it believes unemployment is in the real challenge. Indeed, unemployment is lesser of India's problems, the report said. The more serious problem instead is severe underemployment. A job that one worker can perform is often employed by two or more. In effect, those in the workforce are employed, but they are overwhelmingly stuck in the low productivity, low wage jobs. Taking a cue from countries such as South Korea, Japan, Singapore, and China, NITI Aayog wants the Narendra Modi government to aggressively push for domestic manufacturing under its Make in India initiative to create well-paid jobs for low and semi-skilled laborers. India is best poised to attract a large number of manufacturing jobs as companies shift base from China due to high wages and an aging workforce there. With its large workforce and competitive wages, India would be a natural home for these firms, the report said. It recommends the setting up of 2 coastal employment zones on the lines of Chinese strategy to promote exports and create jobs. Safer roads, better infrastructure. Since coming to power, the Modi government has been aggressively focused on infrastructure, both physical and digital. It must keep the path. The report says spending on key projects like roadways, railways, ports, and civil aviation. The lack of interconnectedness and synergy in the transport network prevents the effective movement of people and goods. The NITI Aayog report says so. It wants more rural roads and the creation of center and state level road safety boards to set and enforce safety rules. In 2015, over 140,000 Indians died in road mishaps. It has probably proposed to bring down railway fatalities zero by 2019. The setting up of a separate safety department and the appointment of a national safety officer. In aviation, it wants air turbine fuel cost to be lowered to get more Indians to fly. ATF costs constitute 40% of the flying cost currently. Digital India, in line with the government's Digital India initiative, the think tank proposes to ramp up digital infrastructure. It wants the government to ensure that citizens are trained in the use of internet through school curriculum and vocational education. Some 69% of the Indians don't use the internet because they don't understand it. According to NITI Aayog, it has also proposed to speed up government initiatives to bring wireless and broadband connectivity to millions of villages through fiber cables, both underground and over power lines. Become a global soft power. Since coming to power 3 years ago, this government has tried hard to project itself as a regional soft power. The think tank now wants it to set up a comprehensive soft power policy that will leverage India's cultural and creative strength across the globe. It also recommended the setting up of a humanitarian assistance and disaster relief agency that could provide assistance to less developed countries. It suggests using India's highly regarded doctors and healthcare professionals to provide assistance in Asian and African nations. Regional development. NITI Aayog has divided the country into 4 key geographies: the northeast, the coastal areas, Himalayan areas, and the desert and drought-prone areas. In the long-neglected northeastern states, the think tank proposes ramping up infrastructure while also bringing connectivity to neighboring countries such as Myanmar. On the coast, besides the need for infrastructure, it sees huge potential for tourism. Beach holidays across the globe have grown by 18% over the last 5 years and remains the most segment of leisure travel, constituting 28% of all holiday trips, the report said. Meanwhile, across the Himalayan region, it has proposed increasing forest land and promoting animal husbandry, fruit and timber plantation, and floriculture. Government and judiciary. 2 of its key recommendations concerns the Indian bureaucracy and judiciary. India's bureaucracy, actually short of officers as it is, has long been blamed for red tape. Many of its officers are appointed through a national level examination, leaving the private sector out of policy making. Today, the rising complexity of economic has meant the policy making is a specialized activity, the report said. Therefore, it is essential that the specialists be inducted into the system through lateral entry. Such entry will also have the beneficial side effects of bringing competition to the established career bureaucracy. Similarly, NITI Aayog proposes to introduce a judicial performance index to track trials and tackle pendency. Such an index could be established to help high courts and high court chief justices keep a track of performance and process improvements at the district courts and subordinate levels for reducing delay, the report said. Over 30 million cases are currently pending even as courts grapple severe shortage of judges. Meanwhile, to improve policing, the Home Ministry has asked to identify non-core functions that can be outsourced to private agents or government departments to reduce the police's workload. Skills and welfare by 2020. India is poised to become the world's youngest country with an average age of 29 years. By 2030, it will have the world's largest working age population of 962 million people. However, India has also been struggling with the quality of school education. The report has asked the government to focus on foundational learning, conduct a national level assessment to understand the quality of education to suggest corrective measures, and also give more autonomy to higher education institutes. NITI Aayog has proposed setting up an independent authority to oversee the various skill development programs of the government. Healthy India, the policy think tank, has suggested higher spending on healthcare. India spends about 1% of its GDP on public health compared to 3% in China and 8.3% in the US. Over the course of the next 3 years, the healthcare system in the country must prioritize public health and shift from being curative to preventive. The report noted key goals include reducing the maternal mortality rate to 120 deaths per 1 lakh live births from the current 167, reducing the infant mortality rate to 30 deaths per 1000 live births, and reducing the incidence of tuberculosis to 130 from the current 217. Environment India has 10 of the world's 20 most polluted cities. To fix this problem, NITI Aayog has proposed a slew of measures, from ramping up public transportation to shifting from petrol and diesel engines to CNG and subsequently to electric vehicles over the next decade. To tackle the annual smog caused by the crop burning in northern India as farmers burn residue, it has proposed subsidizing the happy seeder emission that can plant crops using the residue. NITI Aayog has also listed a roadmap for river linking and afforestation, besides suggesting other pollution control measures. Thank you.